And that means that every time you participate not just in a riot, but you participate to construct a live examples of this another world that you have imagined. Because the point is, all this that you imagine, all this that you want, all this that you feel that is unfair, to first of all to spread it in the rest of the society and say the rest of the society, oh yes, this is not fair. For example, most simple, okay, and after to understand that we want something else, but this something else has to be here and now with live examples. And this live that I say, it's for example, one flyer, to give it hand by hand, is something live. Because the other person, even the grandmother, takes it in her hand, maybe she will throw it away, okay? But she will take it, okay? First time she will take it, second time, third time, and fifth time she will read it to see what is it. And it's not that to have 30 flyers, but to have thousands of flyers, especially in Phoenix, you need
at least 15,000 flyers to start to think about it, just to make something, for one thing, to say some blah. This blah, hello.
Yes, because
yes, because it is much more important than the internet, because it is the body.
Yes, because sometimes all of us, we are trapped in front of our screen of computer. We read our Rise Up net emails, we go to this in the media, we see the freedom of press, all this, health liberation front to prisoners. But it's something completely different to send an email and inform people, and something completely different to find unknown people and invite them to this event, for example, today. Or invite them to something that it is happening in the city.
Yeah, and it is this ability also to produce your own opinion. To have opinion, to write it down, to have friends to make design together. I mean, it's a way people they meet each other. It's this you do. What else you do? I mean, we meet and drinking beers. We drink beers and making something.
Because of this happens. Because maybe you give 3,000, 4,000 flyers and no one will come. But when something big happens, then all these people, or the half of them, or some of them, that they had the flyer they will come. Because some people, they get bored of politics, they don't like politics, they don't like assemblies, they don't like lectures, but when they have been familiar for some months, for some years, for some days,
with our ideas,
then when a big thing happens, then they will come. Because they're not stupid. The people remain stupid when we are pathetic, and when we hide ourselves inside a book of anarchy, or in front of a computer screen, or inside our small community. Then the people remain stupid.
And also an important distinction needs to be made between how outreach typically happens in Greece and how outreach typically happens in the US. At least in my experience and what I've seen, it usually happens with this idea that you're trying to immediately convince people and win them over. Maybe this is also connected to an idea that you're trying to make the movement numerically grow. And that often leads to is people will often lie their own ideas or hide their own ideas because they know that people are going to reject them, that they won't immediately agree, that it's too bitter a pill to swallow, it's too complex, it's too radical or whatever, so they water it down or they dumb it down in order to present something that's common sense, lowest common denominator that everyone will agree with. But the point is not to make everyone agree, the point is to put those ideas out there. Because in the beginning, the vast majority of people will disagree, but if they keep confronting that idea, then they have to recognize that it exists. And that expands that expands the range of opinion that exists within their world. And that's one of the key ways, that's one of the greatest strengths of the U.S. ruling system. It's not even the guns and all the other weapons of the police. It's the fact that in this country, we have the narrowest range of acceptable opinion of any democratic country in the world. And then that's because the media here has been allowed to be so much more propagandistic and to engage so much more in brainwashing. And so So, like Sissy said, it's not an issue that immediately they get the flyer and then they start coming to all of your events and your assemblies, but that this plants a seed. This challenges their construction of what constitutes a normal idea. This makes them respond and take a posture in definition to your ideas, and not just in definition to the crap spewing off of Fox News and CNN and whatever else. And that plants a seed so that when there comes a point when all of the official lies that just barely cut it all the other days of their lives to help them ice over this cognitive dissonance, these contradictions and hypocrisies that people have to live with in order to survive in a capitalist system, the day that those usual routine lies don't cut it will be the day that the ideas that you've spread sprout, take bloom, and take on a whole lot more meaning. And because what happened in Greece is not that all of a sudden hundreds of thousands of young people and old people became anarchists, but that all of a sudden hundreds of thousands of old people and young people started adopting anarchist practices that they had seen and read about in all the years past. And these include open assemblies, these include attacks on the banks and the police stations. That's what generalized to a large extent across Greek society, even though these same people a month earlier were saying that this doesn't make sense to do this thing, that's no good, they weren't agreeing with it, but in the moment that they needed a tool beyond the usual stale democratic toolbox to express their rage and to fight back, the seeds that they had in their consciousness were these examples that the anarchists had made. And also to clarify on something that Tasos said that I know that could be misunderstood, but that we're both in agreement about, is that it's not a process of first you make the flyers and then you make the smashings once you have enough people. This isn't some Marxist ideology of revolution about an accumulation of forces and phases in a revolutionary struggle, that you do all of the activities that you can get away with in any moment, and those plant the seeds and then make that influence on the popular conception of reality. Even if in the given moment you won't be winning lots of new recruits, you will be changing the world that you live in.
Yeah, this is very important. Like that you do all these things in the same time, in the same period, in the same weeks, you know. And the only reason that I spoke about the creation of communiques, it is, you know, because you have to understand how much great power have to understand. Like we have to understand that small groups of people, they can produce a very high quality. And you can understand by the heart and by the eyes the people, you know. You pass on the streets, you go around and you see, and there are thousands of the possible comrades, you know. And also this is the same with the actions, like all these smashings, the arson attacks, like the burnings, all these things, you know. Small groups of people they do, and for some period maybe these practices they can be unpopular. Right? They are not popular, but when the people they really need it, they have them in the back, like they have them in their knowledge. It is how to say. It is a historical skill. It exists there as a possibility. So when the people they face an economical crisis, for example, or they face some police brutality in the neighborhood, or some assassination, some murder of somebody from the police, then all these practices they blossom, they make flower. Like they can remain there in the ground like a seed for many decades, you know. But as more visibility they achieve these practices, when it comes the moment when the society needs it. I mean, we will not enforce the society to revolt or to enforce our own ideology or ideas to the society. When the society will be ready and when the society needs this, they will arise.
I would like to just say something that after you said, to plant the seeds of thought, that means to take our unknown friends from lethargy. That means that they will not participate only in smashing or in riot. Maybe they will not, but they will participate, but they will understand our vision. This is for me the most important. Is to understand and confront all the powers of the domination. For me, the most important with all these counter-information and counter-culture events. that the people, they will come in riot, but the most important is that they will understand all this schizophrenia of the capitalism. This is the most important for me.
Is there an alternative to the banks? Do you say smash the banks? Is there like an underground economy or resource-based or credit systems? And if not, then what is the expectation of the banks? And is there resistance to the euro? Because there's a Grecan economy before.
It's an attack. I mean, the smashing of the banks, it is an attack against the banks. It is not it is not any idea to replace the banks with any kind of other economy, you know.
So no
it is, in a way, you can say, I mean, it is like, I mean, when you attack the banks to make the people understand that the banks, there are something corrupt. Or when, in a way, all the arson attacks goes. All they make just like you see, like the people they see, and they say, you know, like, Ford is not good. Because the people they burn it.
Have you seen a documentary about Ford? I mean, it's amazing. We'll understand.
I mean, like all the arson attacks, the small map in the or in the country of places that the society has to take care of it, or have to think about it, or they produce more doubt about these places. They say why they attack to this place. This place, you know, most of the times it is hidden behind the vitrine of the luxury, or behind the vitrine of the status, or behind the vitrine of the authority. All these places.
Yeah, try to create the inquiry and the question to the society. Why to this building?
Why they attack to this building? Why they attack to this company? So in this way, I mean, with a long process of attacks and in many years, slowly, and especially if you go second time, third time, you know, like slowly, the people, they start to realize that, oh, it's a problem. In the same way, you know, it happened also another technique, like, you know, we have some popular markets that every one time per week in this neighborhood, they come the agriculturals directly, without the intermediate, without the medium.
Farmers markets.
Yeah, farmers markets, and they make like farmers markets, and it is cheaper for the people to buy things from there than to go to the supermarket. Okay, there are some places, some of these markets, sometimes, you know, they started to exist groups in Athens and in other places, in other cities also, that they were searching what is this farmer market that all the popular people, all the people they were going, you know, one time per week to buy things there, that there is nearby big supermarket.